Greetings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Get Uncomfortable. For all those who don't know me, my name is Swedi Shemabaso and I am the host of this beautiful YouTube channel where we tackle all the uncomfortable conversations. You know those conversations like, I don't want to talk about it. Well, we are going to talk about it. So, please do join us. Don't forget to click the subscribe button, like, comment, and share the video. As you can see by the title of the video today, I am not alone. I'm joined by my fellow brothers and sisters in the Lord. And for those who don't know, yes, I am a pastor's kid. So we are going to be talking about life of a pastor's kid. The ups, the downs, the glitz, the glamour, the joys, the not so happy moments. We're going to tackle everything. So everybody's going to introduce themselves now, and then we're going to get uncomfortable because it's about to be lit.
Right. Hi, my name is Ronnie. Malabi, I'm a PK. Don't really want to say from which church, just in case. But yeah, I'm a PK.
Alright.
My name is Busi Mohale. I'm also a PK by default. I did not choose, but I'm here also. So I guess.
Hi everybody, my name is Pamela Skade and I'm also a PK by default as well, but I love it.
Okay, alright.
Nice.
They love it. Lots. Hey, what's up? My name is Judah Ngonya. I'm a PK. Yeah.
Oh, you don't love it. You don't love it.
We'll talk about that.
Alright, and everybody has introduced themselves already. So are you guys ready?
Sure, let's get it.
Alright, let's get them comfortable. So just briefly, just to, get to know each other, could you guys take us back to your childhood, just briefly growing up just simply as just a pastor's kid, not before you turned a teen, just in childhood growing up, when did you realize that, no, I'm a pastor's kid, I'm actually different from those kids, just take us to your childhood. How was it, Nikule, Konabanye, Mabafika befundisi bakhonzele endlini, all those things. Just take us back. Do you guys have small things that you're like, okay?
That's one mama got it.
Yeah.
Just briefly. Just briefly.
Okay, for me, I went to crèche at church. So I was at church 6 days of the week.
No.
It was only Saturday when I was not in church.
Oh, okay.
The experience for me, I think it was good. I didn't see any difference, about myself compared to other kids. I actually saw myself special because I knew how wonderful I am and I knew how strong I am. So that actually also contributed to my education, because at school I was always confident, because firstly I got confidence from God.
Okay.
And I got confidence from my crèche. It was a pastor's crèche. I don't know, they wanted me to be at church all the time, I think.
Yeah.
I think. And then on my holidays, my sister is actually here. On my holidays, I will go to their house. So you see, everywhere, even visiting, I visit pastors. Everything about me, it was about God.
Yeah.
So I think my upbringing was very special, and I didn't see myself different from anyone. I was overconfident, actually. Yeah. That's
Another
it.
person?
Let's go, Busi. Oh wow. Just threw me under that one. For me, I think I'm lucky because I got to know the both sides of the me. Because I grew up no Gogo, so So growing up, it was not more like a pastor's house. So I would see when I go to church, like, oh, this is how they teach pastor's kids, and I thought, oh, cool. And then later on, when I was a teen, that's when I started being a pastor's kid. Realizing the early mornings, because when I was there, I'd be like, it must be nice to be a pastor's kid, eh? Look at what you're getting,
Only if you knew.
Only if I knew.
Yeah.
And then once I was in, I'm like, ish. It's also like weird how it's not only people view differently. Like they now have the impression of no, there's certain way you have to behave and whatnot. But while I was still with Ukoko, I was like, same with everyone else. But now when I moved in to live with my parents, it changed a bit. I'm like, how can it, what must change now? It's not only like what you and yourself want to do, but it's how people view you, in essence. So yeah, that's my upbringing as a PK.
Okay, I grew up. When I was born, my dad was already a pastor. So yeah, it was a typical Christian household. My dad was very chill though. My mom was on the extreme side. Yeah, but my dad was very chilled. Most of my childhood, growing up, you'd feel motivated. Obviously, I'm a PK and there's expectations, but my dad tried his best to
ease them down.
Yeah, try to mitigate the situation. You understand? My dad made it easier for me and my sister and my cousin. We grew up. Was a 5-person household. It was me, my dad, my older sister, and a cousin of mine that we lived with. So, as I said, my mom was on the extreme side. So, like, you need to finally pile funny. You understand? You can't even. There's a time la, when my mom was shouting at me because me and my friends were Susanna Unjayam. So you can understand. And she was yeah. But yeah, otherwise it was a nice upbringing. I'm very thankful for it. Yeah. Thank you.
You guys make me feel like I have the worst things to say.
We're still warming up.
Okay. So when I also got to this planet, my dad was already a pastor. His church was fully functional and stuff. So I don't know my dad's life before his calling. And I think that was my first challenge. But we'll get into that. And then I was alone for the first 5 years. I'm the first, and the 2 other guys after me. I think I grew up with the people in the church because my parents were busy, you know? So every other weekend you're at your grand's house or you're at a fellow church member's house and everyone is excited to have the pastor's kid around, you know? But
special moments.
Yeah, but you know, also like you said, before we became teenagers. So as we grew, you started having your own preferences and stuff, you know. But for the first 10 years of my life, I think it was okay, man, because I wasn't in control much anyway.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's only after, you know, I started going to high school, seeing life outside of a bubble of God. And you know, you meet people who believe differently, and you start thinking your own way, you know. But you know, when we were growing up, there were cartoons we couldn't watch, you know. There are things we couldn't watch on TV. PG-13 was a serious thing in our home, bro. Like, it was a very, very serious thing. ETV was a weekend thing only. So I'm telling you, it was extreme. My dad's mom was also a bishop. So we had no escape, you know. My mother's mother was head deacon at our church. Jesus. So like I'm saying, we had no bother, you know. Discipline was also, yeah, no, definitely. But also, because we come from a talented home, we had to be active in the church as babies. So, you know, but we'll get into that.
So we're gonna move on to the next question. What Judah touched on, the teenage part of it. Obviously now you're growing up and you're realizing that I'm actually different from these kids. The other kids can say, I can't go to church today, I don't want to go to church. But again, what is the have a song? I get so it's your kid. So we're gonna touch on that when you start seeing the outside world, and actually now you also see the PK way that you have to be a perfect child, I guess. But now you also the outside things, you want to experience the outside things, the peer pressure that's from outside, but also the pressure that comes from being a pastor's kid. So let's talk about
Hi guys, my name is Ulianda. I'm a PK, and Well, I don't know if I'm going to be a different PK here, but I enjoy being a PK.
Oh my God.
So just to show, I started being a PK when I was when I was 12 years old.
Okay.
So my dad, we were just a family that loves God, and then he accepted the call in 2009. But then I really did not have an issue. Mangy teenager, I just love Jesus, honestly. I did not care being different. From Sunday school, I used to do Bible quiz. I used to be so competitive with scriptures.
Okay.
So when I was when I was a teenager, everyone knew Uguti. Don't mess up with me. I don't do those things. I do not bank. I not doing anything. I was just very different. Even when we'd have an essay, Ezoti, what is that one word? I remember those essay Bates. What is that one word that still lives today? And you know what I wrote about, right? Bible, yeah. I did that because I just fitted in the kingdom. I didn't have an issue. Yeah.
I mean, okay, the Bible does say train up a child, right?
Yeah.
You know, but kids grow, bro, and they start thinking their own way.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally have a very strong character, so I started expressing my own will very early. You know, I remember, I started playing drums when I was like 3. So I'd fight with the guy who played drums at church, because I started feeling like, hey man, I can do this a little bit, why you not trying to let me play my game? You know? And then I only started participating properly when I was in grade grade 6. I was 12. I started playing drums, but that whole thing for me, I think, was very touchy, because everybody is family somehow. You know, the music director then was Dad's baby brother. Yeah, but half the worship team, moms, sisters. And so it was always a touch and go thing, because we're family. You know, nothing was systematic or structured in a way where we don't attach strings, because we're blood related. So everything had feelings and emotions involved.
Definitely.
So, okay, we grow up, 13, 14, puberty, behavior changes. And unfortunately, my dad might have not really known how to address it outside of the Bible.
Yeah.
And you know, the Bible does teach us all these things we need to know, but it doesn't spoon feed you as to it's uncomfortable. So,
Yes.
okay. Without making them feel like an outcast or things like that. So things like that started happening, started experiencing for about 3 hours. Those kinds of things. And in I grew up in the hood, you know, so the Cheyenne started and we did all these things that my dad hated. And so 15, 16 school, I bunked, bro. Bro, may I tell you, I knew it's okay, timer, yeah, Puma man to go to 8. So the Puma okay, at some point of our lives we lived like 3 streets away from church. Right, so everybody in the hood knew that this boy, his father, is that church. So I'd walk out, check the coast, transport so and then obviously banking means your grades drop. Then I had to sober up, come back. That phase ended. But I started having problems with this whole PK thing when it started affecting my personal life. And here's what happened. When I was in grade 10, we had a very big conference at our dad's church. In June, And if you've been to school, you know that June and grade 10 are a very, very sensitive time.
Oh, yeah. True.
When other kids could stay at home and study, I had to go play an instrument and write a hectic exam the following morning. So I flunked grade 10, failed like a stupid kid, failed, and guess whose fault it was? Mine. You know, the conversation to say, but do you guys realize that mangmele ngifunde mina ndifuna ukukhonza nina? And I don't want to say that was not the priority. I'm not trying to make my parents look like they don't care. But unfortunately,
Yeah, it happened.
it happened.
Yeah.
You know, I found myself, and this was how old was I now? 2012. I was in grade 10. And that changed my entire outlook on this thing of being a PK. I started having a seriously bad attitude towards it. So everything that had to do with expressing ukuthi icheja lasekhaya bengihambela kude nayo. I told my mom all the time, I am just a mere kid.
So were you angry?
I still am.
Okay.
You know, because like I'm saying, I'm older now, and because now I don't go to my dad's church, there's a certain level of peace I've gotten back. You know, where I go to church, I decide if I can go to church today. Does my life allow me to go to church? You know, I play music for a living, so sometimes I'm busier than usual, and you just have a whole lot of work to get through. So sometimes you're supposed to, yo, a 30 minutes drive, a 2-hour service, and another 30 minutes drive. I could finish this. Now it's cut, and so push it online. Yeah, well, I have those options now because I don't go to dad's church. You know, I have a brother who is 21. He doesn't have those options. He's within exams now. You know, but when I'm at Easter, so, you know, different stories everywhere. Being a PK is not all that bad, but like I'm saying, you're an individual.
Yeah.
And Maologu Kula, you have your own preferences, and sometimes they don't go along with those of your parents. And because our parents are so dedicated to their calling, sometimes it comes first. In fact, most of the time, it comes first to a point where if impilaka ihambisan, then born we happy. But alignedly, so
Wow.
so you know, my upbringing was okay. We were comfortable growing up. You know, Baba still works very hard to make sure that the younger ones are good. It's just that sometimes his level of passion for his calling kind of blinds him to other things. You know, and not taking away from him and his stature in the community, but he misses a lot of things simply because he's a pastor. You know, for instance, there are days that are very important in my life, like my kids' birthdays and stuff like that. I pray that there are no conferences or stuff because I know that those things are going to come first. You know, I remember when I did my first DVD recording, I was 17. I was 17. And Pops had a prayer one week vibe. Did he pitch? No. And it hit hard because strangers start celebrating you more than your parents because your parents aren't there to see half the things that happen in your life. You know, and because I'm the strong-willed person, every feeling I feel is extreme. I don't feel. It's not lukewarm, it's either hot or cold with me. Yeah, o'clock, I've not got a past that fast. O'clock all the time, you know, so it really bred a very, very bad spirit in me. And this is why I couldn't wait to be over 21 so I could leave my dad's church. And believe it or not, since I've left his church, we relate way better. Yeah. Because I looked at it as 2 bottles of water, right?
Oh, wow.
I know. I looked at it as 2 bottles of water and I thought to myself, they don't do well together, right? Okay. And this one is warmer, I need the colder one more than the warmer one. So let me find someone else to do this. So I found myself a pastor. someone to pastor me
Yeah.
and not tell me that my room is untidy or things like that.
Sure.
And then that guy who does that other thing focuses on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
it works for me.
Yeah.
It really works for me because ngiyakwazi ukucomplaina kubaba wami ngumfundisi wami. And ngiyakwazi ukucomplaina kumfundisi wami kubaba wami. But at some point I couldn't because this guy is old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now we're going to talk about dealing with it. You know, there's behavior, the way you behave, the way you talk, the way you dress. I know one of the things my dad said to us, or rather me specifically, was I must understand and know that I'm not like other kids. And he compared it to Mutana Sebkosi, and he said Mutana Sebkosi understands the way I behave on a corner, the way I go on a corner, the way I on a corner, because what's Sebkosi. So he said to me that I must also understand that I'm a PK. So the way I dress, the way I talk, the way I behave, I need to be active at church. You know? So let's tackle those things, like the behavior, the dress code. Did you guys ever feel pressure to look a certain way, to speak a certain way because you were pastor's kid?
I think the dress code thing is more a lady thing.
Not.
No.
Really, like, you know what I mean? I'm better now. Like, even movements, yeah, she knows, even to this day, bruh. And I mean, I don't like wearing belts. I feel like belts are so uncomfortable. Yeah, well, exactly. So, like, it's such an issue. For me, Nene, you know what I did, you know, with my childhood? I had to train my parents to understand Uguti. I'm serious.
Whoa.
I had to train them. I had to train them, Guti, to understand, Guti, you've had your life, you made your decisions. I'm having my life now. I need to make my decisions, even though I understand, Guti, okay,
That's what my past.
I know. We had to go through that. Mara, we are trained. So, mina, how I did it was good. Okay, so mina from Mankola, same sort of situation. Kulele, Londeli, kasi. So, but the church is a Pumola. And I grew up with same situation with after church so I was always in the hood of Pumola. I go to like learning schools, you understand. So it was a upbringing like my parents don't want that shit. Sorry.
Hallelujah. No, don't worry about Christian scores and
yeah, they don't want that, you understand. So you're growing up around different influences and it shapes your mind, you understand. So now I had to make a choice of how do I want to conduct myself? How is my internal personality apart from being a PK? So I had to adjust. Now you're peeling, you're seeing okay, see somebody do that. I want to do that thing. You understand? And obviously your parents don't agree with most of the decisions that we make as teenagers as we grow. But I mean, I believe in everybody's life, you need to go through certain things to learn certain things for the future. Even those who but I wanna go and say
City kills again.
I wanna understand. So that was how it was. I conduct my life the way I want to. I try as much. There's a jela within my training. Because I trained. You understand? I trained them. It's not even in a disrespectful way. I'm very respectful. My parents respect me because I'm very respectful. I've been in the church from day one. We've been, you understand?
Yeah.
So for me, it was how I shape my behaviors. Would say how I want to do things. At a certain point in our lives, as much as we're all PKs, there's gonna be a day where you need to make your own decisions. You can't live in the limelight of Abazal Bako for your whole life. It's quite impossible. Otherwise, guaranteed you will live a depressive life. Yeah.
I believe I grew up with the coolest parents ever. They're strict now. Now they're strict. I'm very old.
How lucky.
But they're strict now. Okay, they're not strict, they're overprotective now. I loved hip hop with all my heart.
Yeah, I also used to crump and stuff.
Yeah, I would go to these shows. I
G-Squad.
demanded a Supra sneaker and Air Force, all that. I even got to the point where I would draw my, those gothic.
Oh yeah.
I would do that because I was so deep into hip hop.
Wait, you did what?
Yeah.
And you lived.
Like I lived, honestly. Like my parents' first instinct to me was to make me happy. Although they'll reprimand me and say this is wrong, but they'll make sure that I'm happy. Because I always told them, I love this, but I'm focused. Don't differ from that. I am focused, but this is what I like. So I would be like dressing like in a hip hop way, those things. So they found a picture of me drawing those things, and they're like, "Ubanlo, who is this? Is this you?" But funny enough, they were still supportive on things that I want to do. If I want to go to a science expo, they will allow me. If I want to go to a school choir, they will allow me. And then I was like, but why do they do that? I didn't see, I'm only realizing it now that they wanted me to be happy. And they knew that when they support me, yes, they'll reprimand me, but when they support me, I will find my path in life. So I'm very grateful for my parents for doing that. But now, I know, okay, no guy, even now, you saw I came with my brother and sister. They told me, you can't drive to Foslora. You can't. They will take that car. They're overprotective to that point. I don't understand why. But I'm very grateful of how I grew up. And everything that I chose in life was against Christianity. I was a science baby. I believed in everything science. I have to get facts. And I didn't have a fact about God. I didn't, but I knew the truth.
So you never asked them to explain?
No, I never. Why? I've never even asked. They've never even had to explain. My mom was like, I am a living testimony of that. Of God. God is a living thing. I am. You see the facts every day. And then after doing science West, I went to law. It was totally against. I remember I got a job where I had to do criminal defense. I considered as a criminal defense attorney, and I refused that job. My parents didn't tell me to refuse that job, but because of my upbringing and what I seen their lives being like, my ethics were like, you can't West Pretoria, guys, sunny side. I was like, I can't defend a drug dealer knowing the truth. So for me, them supporting my dreams and understanding how I do things contributed in me being able to have ethics and differentiate, this is wrong, this is right. They didn't lash me with, so I saw it myself. Do not judge. Let people see in you who this God is. That's how I grew up.
Okay. You know, when it comes to like families and like our fundis and us, there's something that I learned recently, you know, probably Kakulu Tinama firstborn Judah, we had it hard.
Bro.
Yeah, we had it hard. Then the siblings, you know when they say the church is the bride of Christ. So sometimes we need to tell our fundis the church is not your bride. It is the bride of Christ. Let God handle his bride. Go to your family. You know? Now,
How do you say that? That's English, maybe like.
Hey, the church is the bride, and God can handle his bride perfectly. Sometimes they honestly think that God can't handle his bride, and then they want to just be there. But anyway, I was just passing them. You know, my dad was cool. My dad is very cool. In terms of behavior.
Are you saying that because you think he's gonna watch or what?
No, like my dad is cool. Like cool. I get called fussy. One thing I could say about my dad is that when he needs me, I'm there. And when I need you, be there. So that's why I see in a relationship agrand. I do serve at church, go worship team. It is annoying sometimes, you know, but why are we going to that funeral? So that's why I sing a
Supportive
lot.
leadership.
Yeah, you know. But what I'm gonna say is that one thing that helped me was really accepting Christ and really understanding who Christ is in my life, because it made a lot of things easier. Yes, I may be serving under my dad, but I'm not serving him, and I'm serving Christ. So that really helped. Even nami mangiyothenga store bofanyogqoka, fanele ngithi ngiphakamise izandla ngworship ubona ukuthi is this short or what. Not because my mom said that, but now because I accepted the Holy Spirit for myself, then it's now I have a personal relationship. Forget my parents. You understand? So having a relationship with God really helps, because you just become a child of God. More than anything. Yeah, there's no middleman in that. So on the you know, Boaz good, you know, labantu bafuna ukuya at a place, you know, when awuyi endaweni, you understand, at that place, you know. Yeah, there are certain, you don't go to that certain place. Yeah, but
Spread the word.
But more than anything, the NCZile was that my behaviors, more than anything, really helped because I accepted Christ for myself. You know, I serve but it's really not about them anymore. I've even past that stage. So whatever behaviors that I had was honestly just the love I have for God. Yeah, that's just it.
Do you want to inject or UK?
I could.
Yeah, but
I mean, I think this whole presentation thing for me, I'm remembering stuff as you're speaking. To say, you know, I think I was 14, 15. Okay, so there are things I saw people do when I was a kid, and I told myself, "Mankula ngoyenza le nto." Yangichaza. Faka amacici. Yabo, when I get to twos. Yabo. So there are things that, like, I couldn't wait to be 18 because I knew what you so totally card free pass as soon as I'm out. And I think my dad, shame that I want tried to be as supportive as he can until it became a bit too much for him. And I can show respect to that, you know, to say sometimes the fact that they are a different generation generally, cold or not, means their boundaries around life are a little harder than our generation.
Yeah.
You know, life gets easier with generations. My kids have it easy. There are things I'm not too worried about because they're my kids, you know. But my dad, so 1 cup to go get my
Yes, please.
yeah. We're ready. Let's do it. We went, did it, came back sharp. But I overheard a conversation. My mom said,
Yeah.
And my pops was like, you know. And then I was like, I'm not gonna tell you anymore. Grew up, I got my first tattoo, and I didn't hide it. Got my first tattoo, and I wore short sleeves that whole winter. Because I wanted to make sure that, Chief, you see that I've done this. I'm not hiding it. I've done it. Here it is. You know, because already I'm growing up with a heavy interest in music, but I can't listen to secular music. Because I've never been a secular music person. Only now because it makes money for me, you know. I got this tattoo, obviously. You have deputy parents or something, people who think they help your parents. Right? People who think your parents can't do it well on their own. I remember actually calling someone to order, saying, "Yes, mom, you have your own kids." You know.
Whoa.
I mean,
whoa.
Yeah, I told you, but I told you earlier on, Vusi, that I have a strong character. Very strong character. You know, there's a place.
Yes, sir.
I had a lot of people who know me know that I'm blonde in December. I have a calendar on my head. Yo, mina usisuke wangitshela the way Shandisi yasemkhathini.
Sithanizini.
Bro, I think answer car. It's fine. It's my life. You know what I mean? Yeah, pray about your things. You know, I'll pray about mine.
Hey.
You know, I got my
That's a huge
second
red
tattoo.
card.
It's Jeremiah 29:11. I wrote this on my body because it means something to me. Everything I write on my body means something to me. This is my firstborn son's actual heartbeat. It's not just a thing I found on the internet and felt like, oh, got some money, let's go. You know what I mean?
It's Stuka.
Oh, Stuka. You know what I mean? Stuka. So, and then I remember, I think a day or two after I did this, it was still very fresh. It's a shiner. I'd become a musical director. So in that mind, maybe 3-4 years back. So in Kula Kulile, based in a meeting, it helps ministry or something. So all head of departments had to sit in that meeting. Hey, umama lo chief umsasesa. Mntanam, etafuleni chief ne. Sikhona sisonke la. Retirement ne old age. Mntanam ubhalile futhi. Uyabona? It's nice ne? Yeah, Jeremiah 29:11. For I know. Well as most mama lives. Yeah. You know, because I got to a point where I don't want to feel like everything I do is wrong for everybody else. You know, and it's wrong. It's wrong for everybody else. You buy a car with this suspension, it's a problem for the body of Christ.
Everyone is with an opinion.
Yeah, well, so I got to that place really quickly, and I built a very thick wall.
Yes.
You know, my dad's congregation knows not to talk about my business.
True.
I've told them it has nothing to do with you. I have a child of wedlock. You know what I mean? You know, because yeah, because you know what I mean. Because you get depressed, man. You live a life of hatred and self-judgment.
And
double life.
Yeah, pretty double life, bro. You know, many pinches ziyazi ukuthi ngesinye isikhathi kuba mnandi and mangekho space nesinjalo angikho out of my own accord. I've never ever said, hey, time ayafuna chance. I'm not that guy. You know, and naloliyazi ukuthi ayikho le ngingayifoneli ngizoba hate ngayifonela.
That's
You know, I've taught my
Training, guys.
but trainer, you must understand there are just people who are just autocratic in JE. That's their character.
Yes.
And you cannot take them out of their character, and then you are the one that has to now adjust to that.
Yes.
No. As a jailer.
Ew.
Training.
There's no way.
Listen.
I have a strong relationship with my mom.
Oh.
Right? It's just easier to talk to. I think it's like that with all of us.
It's the other way around.
Yeah. That's why yeah, well, Uma knows, bro. Ma knows not to call me after a certain time in the weekend. So, Koni had ache as say man. Well, I understand. Pops will call. You'll miss his first call. Babe, yo, time I get rasa lang corner. Niggas Spanish. Yeah, well, because it's either that or you're gonna have to run out of this place like a madman to go answer your call, your phone in the car. I'm not trying to live that life, though. You know what I mean? I really am not. You know, I'm a self-sufficient adult now, also. You know, so I'm not 13. We had a conversation before we started shooting. You know. Not 13 like the other kids who's 13. You know? There's a way they can address him, with all due respect, really. There's a way they can address him because they feed him, they clothe him, and it's not like that with me anymore. You know. So if having a wine cellar in my house means you don't come to my house, cool.
Yes.
How?
Yeah, but
You know, Bokuluma, about that, I'm remembering something where we had a youth camp and I love shorts, eh? And I was rocking my shorts, a campaign, and this lady was like, your shorts? And I was like, my mom buys them, okay? And then, I go to a tango, so I was like, okay, Lalelen. Okay, I know I buy them. I'm like, but you bought them.
Yes.
So sometimes
So it's approved.
Most of ways, but defend I was a bit. I could say I was on by pap. By papa, honestly, you know, Futi lava needs to do something. By a pap, cause, I mean, you live with your parents. Your mother knows you wear shorts, bro.
exactly.
I understand. Yeah, my mother sees my written body daily. Sa futhi ke sikhula siyabafana yimbambo one way makushisa nje sama nesimbambo lapha endlini so uma uyazi ukuthi lo ubhale into ethize la omunye ubhale ini la omunye ubhale ini la you know. So for someone you don't live with umuntu ongazi ukuthi when you face issues wenzani ukhule uthini for the person to think by mere fact ukuthi kubizwa isibongo sakini la esontweni should sonke siyungwenya and mina uma mncane wakho omkhulu njengoba uyinwele zakho ziblonda ngizwa akukhulekeki kahle you know yazi bro those were the words
Really?
I'm telling you ngengafika mina on a Thursday ngo-11 uyayazi ukuthi i-sacred njani
Hallelujah.
Intercession.
ngafika angisazi ngizofuna isikhiya sasendlini thola vele umkhulu kwabo mama ladies there gogo is there mamncane is there and all the other ladies in the church bangena bathi yeah man speak wazala
Exorcism.
hey wazala ngiyazibona lezi nwele bomama simbambeni mntana
Exorcism.
siyacala nje ubaba amsindisa ngoba nali khanda libovu
Hey, but Jesus made
and I just stood there during the prayer like Lord, are you part of this really? What's this now?
Definitely
You know what I mean?
not, yeah.
Because when we're wasting time on that, they're actual souls, man. Out there. I don't gosh, you know.
I understand.
Yeah, kono umuntu. Yes. Kono level ye go yi ethi hlukana nami. Hlukana nami.
That's good.
I understand.
We just like road drive uqalele.
Yeah.
Sekeleni ngaba makhathini uzo nayo uzoyiqeda la seja.
Kunzima intimini baba.
Ubone ukuthi ungathola imiphefumulo because I'm prayed up. You know, with my tattoos and my little vulgar and wine and stuff. I'm prayed up. I know how to talk to God about my things. This is why I'm still here. You know what I mean? You know, and the energy we spend on trying to get the prayed up ones to pray more is the energy we should be teaching the ones who can't pray at all. You know what I mean?
That conversation really strikes a lot, bro, because as human, it's easy to judge something that's already made. It's very easy, rather than starting from ground up.
Yes.
Because now I know you know the truth. I can work around the truth and make you feel guilty.
Yeah.
But now telling someone the truth becomes a problem. Hence why go ye.
Yeah.
I understand.
Go ye.
You know, I'm going through a time in my life currently when funny things are happening. Those who know. Funny things.
Lol.
Bro. LOML. AO. All those things. Yeah. Like funny things are happening and I really feel it's okay. The calling parts. Yeah, because we can say all these things, guys, man. But there's things we can't run away from. Yeah, the calling part of my life is very close, Shem. And so there are things that are happening now that are throwing me closer to the destiny space and the decisions I am making. But it's still not in the dress that they're expecting. Yeah, I understand. I was telling my dad the other day with yo, Brian, must right cash on and say, parties on this. Need to chance, okay? Yabona iphethe ke lento yakini just but iqiniso yabo bese siyalivula leli linye singakalivuli lihlile la ngithi but uJesu gents come on yeah
On a serious note.
oh shut down the ice all right uJesu though boy you know I'm really that guy through and through. My friends can tell you I'm not ashamed of the gospel at all. You know, I make our secular artists make them pray in the rehearsal room. Khona ke uthungisa impepho siyamthola amuyithwisa ngale. Nathi sike simbizo lo simbiza sizobuya ema sesicula. You know, because that's my truth. It doesn't have to look the way you want it to. It doesn't have to sound the way you want it to, but I know what my truth is. Sohlanganela yini? Sibone ukuthi ubani uyaphi. We understand. Yeah.